I'm sitting in a classroom full of 10 and 11-year-olds, and I can immediately see why the teacher has called me in. 6 kids are tilting so far back in their chairs, they're dangerously close to cracking their heads open. Several are slumped over their desks, while others find any excuse to get up and out of their chairs. Then there's one child hitting his head with a plastic water bottle. No one could sit still, and as a result, the teacher couldn't teach. And she's not alone. Veteran teachers everywhere are reporting changes in the development of children in the past 30 years. Here are 3 alarming trends. Number 1 issue, children are having trouble paying attention in school. One teacher reports that in the past, she was able to teach the whole classroom as a whole, and maybe had 1 or 2 kids that had difficulty paying attention. Now, on a good day, at least 8 out of those 26 kids are having trouble. Spatial awareness is being affected. A director of a preschool for over 40 years tells me, "I don't remember this being an issue in the past, but kids are literally running into each other and into the walls. At least 3 times a day, a child will fall out of the chair and onto the ground." Kids are getting much more easily frustrated, crying at the drop of the hat, even in the upper grades. So what is going on? Why the rise in sensory and motor issues in the past 30 years? As a pediatric occupational therapist, it is my job to study these trends and try to make sense of them. We did a study in an elementary school and looked at core strength and compared this to standardized norms from 1984, my generation. Then we looked at normal balance reactions. When we combined the 2 scores, we found only 1 out of every 12 children today could meet the averages from the kids of the 1980s. Only 1 out of every 12. Why? Because we are seriously reducing and restricting children's movement opportunities and is wreaking havoc on their neurological systems. They are going to school with bodies less prepared to learn than ever before in history. It is becoming increasingly rare to find children playing outdoors, rolling down hills, spinning in circles just for fun, and climbing trees. We've taken away merry-go-rounds and teeter-totters. We've shortened the length of recess from full-hour sessions to a mere 20 minutes if kids are lucky. All of this is affecting their development. To make matters worse, we are further containing children by having them sit in chairs for hours on end, both in the home and in the school environment. This is due to an overemphasis on highly structured activities and academics. And don't get me started on screen time. We need to allow them to move in all different directions, rapidly and frequently throughout the day. They need to move that fluid back and forth in the inner ear to stimulate the hair cells in there. This develops our vestibular system, or our balance sense. This sense is key to all the other senses. If we're not stimulating it enough through frequent movement opportunities, it can affect everything. The sense helps us to know where our body is in space, to get from point A to point B safely, to stay in our seat without falling out, to regulate our emotions back down again and our activity level, to support all 6 eye muscles to track for reading and for writing. And it turns a reticular activating system on in the brain to tune in. Most children are walking around with underdeveloped vestibular systems due to our sedentary lifestyles. This is becoming a big problem for attention. How do we rectify this issue? How do we get more movement opportunities for children? Here are 3 ways to get started. We need to lengthen recess times to a full hour. 20-minute recess sessions don't work. If kids are sitting for too long, they get antsy. Then we let them outdoors. What happens is when they first start moving, their activity levels actually go up. So now, if you let them in 20 minutes, they're more hyper than before. We need to allow for a full 45 minutes to an hour for that to regulate back down again. We need to allow children to move in ways that make adults gasp. They need to swing daringly high. They need to go upside down. They need to spin in circles and fall on the ground. They need to jump off things, and yes, we do need to let them climb trees to new heights. Now, if we consistently keep them from stimulating the senses in more extreme ways, we become the barrier to child development. We must get them outdoors. The natural environment challenges yet calms the senses. It organizes the brain. This lays the foundation for learning. We need to allow children to play outdoors at least 3 hours every single day. This is in order to reap the many developmental benefits, but also to maintain them. So let us always remember this. In order for children to learn, they need to be able to pay attention. In order to pay attention, we must let them move. Thank you.